You are now entering Maximum Driftcast, the only drifting podcast hosted by a Spanish soccer mom, a 30-year-old silver-haired fox going on 60, and finally, a 200-pound bowl of spaghetti with chimichanga arms.
The champions, we are the champions.
And it's that time of the week again, Paco.
What time is that, Corey?
Just, I've been cramping up a lot lately. Just been feeling sick, and I think it's that time of the week.
I'm sick of you, but
So that's why you got to be so mean just from the start of the show.
Yeah, I'm trying to recover, Paco.
Just
from
Try to recover from
missing you
something
guys for 5 days.
Well, something very special happened today, though, and as a result, we wanted to announce that this is going to be our last show because we've actually accomplished everything we wanted to accomplish.
Yeah. Well, I want to elaborate on that a little bit, Sam, if you're okay with it. So we're all taking new roles. Sam, obviously, you're a world-renowned producer and video editor, and
Director.
I know you worked and director. You worked really hard for that, and you've earned it. Nice job, Paco. And you can aim the camera on Paco real quick, big balls, because I want to. There you go, so the world can see Paco. I know you've been doing a lot in the automotive world. You've been building a couple different cars. You've been building a Datsun, the Tofu drift van, and now you've been getting into C4 Corvettes.
that's right.
And I'm just so proud of you. I'm just so proud of you, Paco, because I couldn't believe you took the crew chief role of HGK Racing.
That's right. That's right. From now on, we're actually gonna change the name. It's gonna be PHGK.
For Paco HGK.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, I think Christoph saw you pick up a C4 Corvette. You probably picked up one of the best generations ever. And
Absolutely.
And from my understanding, talking with Christoph, he was impressed with how you disassembled that thing.
Yeah,
That's
really impressed. But then, Corey, before we get into Paco's new role, the reason why we can now shut down this podcast, we've accomplished everything we wanted to do is because,
Right.
For all your accolades, you finally accomplished the #1 goal today, and that was you got a Instagram like from the Papa Roach band.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that. It was a funny story. I'm just sitting there in the shop, and I get a notification, and Papa Roach liked my photo. So that's it.
So, anyways, that's it. No more guests, no more podcasts. We done it.
Well, do you know
it's been fun.
one thing real quick before we get our special guest on the phone if he decides to show up? Paco has.
Oh, you got Mr. Papa himself?
Well, no,
Yeah,
I guess,
that's right.
Well, so
got the
I
Roach?
have Paco here with us live, but I know Paco really puts a lot of responsibility on his drivers, and so he has Kristaps on a really strict regimen of eating oatmeal and doing push-ups all day. So hopefully we'll be able to get to Kristaps. But Paco, so with this off season now, you have 4 weeks until the next round. What was your strategy for Kristaps in the car?
First of all, we gotta make him. We gotta put a microphone inside his helmet, so we're gonna be able to listen everything he says
Right.
while he
Everyone's
drives.
calling a bitch.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the first thing.
Okay. Nice.
Second, we're gonna give him night vision.
Oh wow.
Night vision, and do you know how night vision? It's kind of like green.
Okay.
That's pretty much like the colors.
That's where you get the
Our
colors from. My
Exactly.
God.
So he's gonna be able
from
to
this-
see through the smoke.
You're just
Okay.
going to feed him a lot of carrots? Is that how you do that?
For the he's
the
gonna get
vision.
for the better vision.
So you eat carrots, oatmeal, and push-ups.
Yeah, and go-gurts
And
in the morning.
Yeah.
That sounds
Wow,
pretty good.
I can't wait to
Yeah.
see Kristaps in Seattle. I wish we can just get him on the phone right now to ask him
Yeah.
how training's been going.
But instead of Kristaps, we have Mr. Roach himself, Papa Roach, on the line. How you doing, buddy?
Well, I'm doing great.
Good to
I'm
see
doing
you.
great. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that wasn't the
That wasn't him.
Yeah, no.
Are you there, Mr.
But that was a
Mr.
good
Roach?
impersonation, though.
Hello, sir?
Oh yeah.
Kristaps, that's you.
Kristaps, that's your
your
cue.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah, you're Mr. Papa Roach.
Hey, Kristaps.
Oh,
you're here.
man.
Have you ever heard of the band Papa Roach?
Yes.
Fuck yeah. What are you a big fan? What's your favorite Roach song? You a Roachman?
Oh man, it's hard to say, but if we can listen one, I probably will recognize him.
You gotta. Well, we could listen to one where right now my life is just so cut into pieces that I listening to one would be the last resort.
Yeah, suffocation,
Anyways,
no breathing.
Kristaps, how has it been working with Paco all these days, all these minutes since he became your crew chief?
I mean, I didn't expect such improvements in our team since he joined us, and he can also exchange me because he looks like pretty similar.
Yeah.
If I have a bird, and basically the things since then things only goes up. So I'm really proud for the new crew chief.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we haven't actually seen you drive around with Paco yet, but I mean, Paco is dressed very well. We didn't mention that. And so if you aren't watching the video version right now, Paco is, of course, wearing an HGK shirt that he definitely didn't steal from one of your teammates in the last round. And, we're just really excited that, you have there's so many people on your team that have trouble speaking English, and Paco is finally really the last.
The last piece of the puzzle to make it even worse.
So, Kristaps, we're so pumped to have you on the show. We have so much to talk about. You've got your best form of the drift season yet, the most exciting season, and then, of course, the HGK Drift Challenge. Let's talk about let's talk about that one first. What's going on? This is the once-a-year big event, the biggest Latvian drift event of the year, right?
One of the biggest, yeah. There is a few championships that are joining or have a stop in Riga, but we are doing ours once in a year, trying to bring every year the different faces from FD as well as the local guys are coming over. Yeah, so it's gonna be a pretty good one.
And what goes down at these events? Is it just a competition? Is it like an exhibition?
It's more or less only a competition, but it's we are building a very cool track layout that kind of like puts the best from the European high-speed drift and let's say American wall ride. So we have all that in one layout, and it's really cool in the front of the grandstands because the cars are not getting lost in the smoke, but they're just kind of doing a U-turn and then coming back to the grandstands. So it's really watchable and enjoyable.
The American Bull Ride, I love it. And I'm looking on hdkchallenge.com. That's where you can find out more info about that. And what drivers do you have coming from around the world that we might know?
This year we invited Matt Field, and I know that Audi is like hanging out somewhere near here. I think he's like visiting his relatives. So we're trying to do our best to get him in a car as well. So see how it works out, but hopefully it does.
Odie is from Latvian descent, right?
No. He's from Lithuania. So
Lithuania.
That's the country next to us.
Lithuania, from what I recall, is kind of shaped like a chicken wing.
Could be. I don't know.
I just remember something in school that hold on, let me go look this up.
No, Latvia actually does look like a drumstick.
Oh, it's Latvia.
Yep.
Oh, maybe that's why I got
Lithuania looks more like a ribeye. Like a T-bone.
Nice
Sorry.
steak.
rabbi.
Lithuania is like
Latvia does kind of look like Latvia looks more like a chicken wing than Lithuania. Shit, what am I thinking of? Well, it's really good news for all of us, I guess.
Yeah, finally.
Well, that's awesome. How many years have you been hosting this event?
This is gonna be the third
Year.
third year. Yeah, I
And
think so.
and are you driving Krakow? Krakow as live, or Krakow
Has
as
died.
Died. Harris wrote it down. Yeah, died. Yeah, we took the parts that were still usable from the old car, and we rebuilt it completely, brand new car, and then we went to our DSGP in Russia, and the only piece in the puzzle that was still like a lot of usage was the engine, and we broke down the engine a few weeks ago, but then with the help from the Mast Motorsports in Texas guys, they sent us over the internals, the new internals, and we rebuilt the new block, and the guys already yesterday start to install it back, and it will be brand new engine now on that car as well, so it will be really, really good one.
what chassis are you rebuilding?
That was the E46, so the same we were driving past 3 years in FD.
So what are you going to be driving at the Drift Challenge?
The E46 for Matt Field, we have an HGK kit car, the one that Ryan Turk drove it few years ago, last year, Daigo Saito, we're driving it, and
Yeah.
for Audi, we are trying to get put together the Nicholas car, E36, that
Oh,
the
cool.
car that Chris Forsberg were driving last year.
Yeah, I have to. Does the seat move back far enough for someone? I guess Odie is about the size of a child, so.
Yeah.
Both of them, Matt Field and Audi, is the same size. Yeah, the small ones.
Yeah, that's why you didn't
Midgets.
invite Forsberg back, because 6 foot tall Forsberg didn't fit in the seat.
Yeah.
So what's up with? I've been hearing actually a lot about the HGK kit car lately, but I wanted to talk to you about it. What is an HGK kit car?
Oh, that's the tube chassis drift car that was built back in 2012. It's really wild.
Yeah.
And for certain reasons, every year it's getting some crazy things on it. Last year I went in a neighbor country and I had a collision. So basically there was some serious damage in the front end. So we have to redone all the front end. And this year the guys decided to do for the V8 the exhaust like 8-in-1, like similar that the Steph Papadakis did for the Tanner's Faust Passat.
Yeah.
But our tube end just will gonna finish on right in the front hood, so it will basically be like, I don't know, like 10 feet long, and that's it.
What is the geometry and the dimensions based off of, or are they just freehanded?
The car,
Yeah.
it's E46 exactly. The wheelbase is the same as E46, and then since we damaged the front end of the car last year, we asked Weisswab what's front suspension you would like us to use, or what would you suggest, and they said like let's try RX-8. So we will have an RX-8 steering kit in the front from Mazda. And on the rear, there is a double wishbone suspension. So it's like, see how it will perform, and because there is no rules, and we can go as wild as we can on that car.
Yeah, right. And totally FD illegal, obviously, because you've cut up everything on it, and it's just made it into the best car it could be without any limitations, right?
Exactly. That's why I actually established the HGK Challenge, the only event where there is no rules, because we creating the rules, and because we had a car that couldn't like participate in any championships, so then
Yeah.
that's why we should establish our own, so we can get it used.
I like that you built a car, then you built an event around the car.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that.
I'm
What-
sure, Paco, you have 1,000 questions about his kit car or anything else. What you got?
VTEC or rotary?
VTEC or rotary, probably V8.
Yeah.
V8 Tech.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Smart. Dude, can't keep up with him, man.
Kristaps, the track you're competing at, what track is it that you're holding the event at?
That's we call it legendary Biternieki track. It was built 50 years ago outside the city, but then when the city started to expand, now it's in the city. So when the citizens that are living nearby, some of them are used to it, but some of them are still complaining about the noise and the smoke. But come on, man, the track here was first, and you just
You moved in.
you moved in, so you have to like pay respect to the truck.
Yeah, I just
well,
saw on the website it says no
Warning.
exhaust loaded.
Yeah,
100
that's why I was
decibels
asking
at
that.
45.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, the coolest thing about it is like they are not measuring the maximum decibels, but they are measuring like average per day. So basically, if you like just pass by with the car with no exhaust, it will like be really high. But then if you have like 10 minutes silence, it will be like averagely very low. So that's how we managed to keep it legal.
That rating.
That's very good. I like that little way to get around it.
So I want to go a little bit more into the event, Sam, because
Yeah,
obviously it's your third year doing it. And you had Daigo and a couple other people come out. How did the people respond to these foreigners coming into Latvia and driving your cars and competing? Do they get a pretty exciting response, or how's it been treating you that way?
Yeah, it's always fun here because it's not a championship where you have to like focus and be like paying all attention to the results. Whatever happens, like you have to stay. This is more like a show. You have a like free. I don't know how you say like just a freestyle. You just
Right.
can enjoy every single round. There is a lot of practice, a lot of battles. Like if we are still have some left time left, we can do some demo runs and stuff like that. A lot of fans are coming over, yeah, and just want to see us because as well as we are not competing as often. This is going to be only our first appearance in Riga, in Latvia, in our home track. So people want to meet us. People want to meet new faces from FD as well. And yeah, it's just a nice event where everybody can come together and just have fun.
So, looking at these events, you bring up Daigo, and I'm going to use him as an example. It seems like you guys created a pretty unique relationship with him. You have this guy that was this crazy Lexus 2J guy, and now he's this Japanese invader of V8s and carbon Kevlar Corvettes. What did you guys do to convert him?
He spent back in 2015. He spent a lot of time just watching our cars. We remember it was what 3-4 years ago. He was in Texas just when the Bargain crashed his Corvette in Texas. When there was a half off of it, he was just sitting there like for 2 hours. 2 hours just looking in the car, studying something. We was like, wow, what the hell he's doing there? Like such a long time. And yeah, and then after 2 years, he started to buy Corvettes and start building them, and realized that they are way cooler than their luxury marks.
See, I tried to tell you guys that a long time ago.
And I'm happy that Paco brought us like kind of extending our builds. Now we are like not going C7. We are like kind of downforcing to C4.
Right. Right, because they're just so superior.
I mean,
and the C3 is really where the new frontier is.
Yeah. Well, the C4 you can do like a 325 tire in the front, and that's what we discovered. Like just what we're gonna do is actually gonna make them front wheel drive.
Right.
Yeah. And they're gonna have a 325
front
drag tire in the front.
Okay.
It's gonna be like Chris Rado's Scion.
Okay.
But on a C4 Corvette, I mean,
grip monster. The other thing too is because obviously Sam, you talk to Kristaps every single day before you guys go to bed. He also talks about the C4 front end, how it's all one piece, how that was your idea to put that in the HGK cars.
That's right.
That's just I didn't realize you were
definitely.
so innovative.
Paco, I know that obviously you're happy that everyone is appreciating the Corvettes these days, but I'm sure that some little part of you inside, because Paco is drifting a Corvette, what, 7-8 years ago?
I was drifting a C5 Corvette before Corvettes were even
I know,
cool.
but it's like, how angry are you? Like, come on, guys, I've been fucking saying these are cool for years.
Yeah,
like,
nobody...
just now because Kristaps and HGK built one, and because Matt Field has one, and Dirk has one.
Daigo Saito has 4.
Corvettes are actually cool, but you've been there since the beginning, Paco, campaigning hard for Corvettes, and no one listened.
No one listened. I mean, in all fairness, wasn't Conrad Grunwald drove a...
There was a C5 in
Yeah.
FD.
Luke
Lomberger.
Luke
was
Lomberger
awesome, but
had
he was
a
in
Corvette.
I believe.
So there's been a couple Corvettes on Formula Drift before, but I guess they never really did as good as they're doing now. Maybe because there wasn't like the same amount of modifications.
Well, you didn't have people like Kristaps developing new parts to say this is a cool car, so I'm just going to make parts for it. It was just kind of just like, I believe Luke was running like a ZR1 transmission in it. He didn't have any other adapters or anything.
Not to mention, those cars were also a lot newer back then, so everything for those cars was a lot more expensive.
Right.
That's
Which,
tougher.
yeah, probably. I mean, today you can buy a running C5 Corvette for $8,000.
Yep.
And a C6 for probably close to 15, 17.
Yeah, and then throw it out most of it. Huh?
Yeah, most of it in the garbage.
But here's the thing. I mean, I don't know how that works in Latvia, but here in the States, you can make a lot of money back just from selling seats, selling dashboard, because Corvette people loves, like restoring and having things that are like mint. So
And every Corvette's owner's seats just get ripped up by girls just wanting to
Just claw out their crotches.
stand
but-
on the seats and yell and scream
but-
and do whatever else Corvette owners get girls
Yep.
cars.
But they
'cause
they don't have
Corvette baby.
they don't have the best quality inside, so they actually they break a lot. Like my C5 when I bought it, like seats were already ripped.
That was one of the biggest things in my valet life that was so disappointing because Corvettes up until that point were like cool luxury sports car, not luxury, but cool sports cars. And then I get in my first C4 Corvette, and I'm like, this thing is a piece of shit.
That was
like all the door handles and all the parts were from a Cavalier. Like it was just like terrible quality. It drove like a yacht. The transmission was loose as fuck, but like it did burnouts. I mean, I don't know that.
Somebody
As a
told
valet,
you.
that would be responsible to do a burnout in a Corvette. But I mean, I bet it would if someone did.
Yeah. Well, that's the American supercar, isn't it?
The Viper, the 1992
Oh,
Viper.
the Viper.
Is it?
Oh,
I still think. I mean, here's the thing. When the C4 with the ZR1 engine from the 90s, that was one of the fastest, if not the fastest car, the fastest production car for quite some
that
time.
time.
Yeah, I mean, who cares about the interior and the other bits when
Yeah.
you can
And-
shit out of all the German cars on the ring?
Yeah, it was known as the king of a hill for a reason. Because even the Viper with more horsepower and all that, it just wouldn't match the handling, at least from factory, like the way they came out from factory.
Damn it, Bobby.
Not dang it, Bobby. Not
King of the
doesn't
hill.
fit the
That's
handling,
what
Bobby.
you meant, right?
damn right, Boomhauer.
So how much involvement did you have in helping out Matt Field with his Corvette?
Just that there's a lot of body panels and as well as the transmission linked with the Winters diff. Otherwise, the most of it he did himself. Of course, we were exchanging with a lot of emails during the off season, and I tried to help him as much as we can. But yeah, the most craziest thing is like the suspension, how to get it running. Because I think the guys at the Part Shop Max still haven't created the best possible suspension they probably could. They're still studying and looking at the data, what they're having back from Matt. But yeah, that's the part because we modified it like probably 3 times. The suspension kit for the Corvette at least like 3 times because we got some feedback from the Kabargin and then we gave it to the Saito and Saito like said like, wow, this is not gonna work. We have to like move this fixing point to the other. Yeah, and it's actually I've never driven it a lot. I just like did a few donuts, but I still believe that it's a crazy machine.
Yeah. Do you see
Just
yourself
after
ever?
the Eurofighter.
Yeah, just after the Eurofighter. Do you ever see yourself driving one, or are you BMW faithful for life?
Yeah, well, probably, maybe, I don't know. Just trying to stay with the BMWs because that's our kind of our baby, our creation. What we can. It's more affordable for the rest of the guys than the Corvette.
Right.
So there's a way smaller market for the Corvettes.
So, what is up with the? I guess let's talk about Formula Drift now. The Eurofighter has made quite the storm, and you are doing very well. But the car is kind of the what gets everyone excited. Like it's whenever your car comes out, everyone loses their minds. Everyone's so pumped. Obviously, because you are behind the wheel and one of everyone's favorite drivers right now. But the car is itself insane, and the sounds that come out of it are the craziest part. It just sounds like no LS I've ever heard. What makes it special?
Just yeah, as you said, like 3 things: the motor, the exhaust, and the driver.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, the guys back in Texas, like yeah, last year, last season, I talked to the guys in Mass Motorsport. I said like we need to find somewhere next to 100 horsepower because the fast tracks we couldn't make it like with 800, and then they created this crazy 427 with Moses heads. Like it's nothing like not really nothing, but it's way different than the LS. So the LS exhausts or the intake wouldn't fit on that engine because it's completely different.
Yeah.
And the guys back in Texas, they call it a big boy. And when you Google the big boy, so engine is the first thing that comes up, right?
Really?
I checked it once, so
Oh,
what do you
God.
see there.
I don't know if you're trying to do a Latvian trick on me.
Yeah, you should
Christoph.
just
I don't-
Sam Google Big Boy and then type in Kristaps afterwards.
Big boy Kristaps. All right.
No. So hopefully you're not gonna get that picture.
Big boy
But,
Kristaps. Apparently, there's some basketball player named Kristaps.
Oh yeah, there is one in New York. Knicks.
Yeah.
He's the new talent. He's pretty tall. And,
Is he Latvian?
Yes, of course.
So you are then little boy Kristaps. How do I find you?
But I don't know.
Please.
Just try different words.
Please don't kill me. All right. What about big man?
Big man
Maybe
Kristaps could probably do it.
Man.
Big man Kristaps. Nope.
Now, all right, forget about it.
So I think I forget what I was in Atlanta or where I was talking to you, but you also mentioned that you got like an extra 500 RPM at the top of the power band of that motor, and that's when it sounds craziest because we're hearing this thing rev higher than any LS style motor has the right to rev, right?
Yeah, it goes all the way up to 9,000.
Over 9,000.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know that the Mustangs does like Vaughn is like turning his engine 8,500, and he used to do it maybe sometimes even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why that sound? But it still sounds lazy for some reason. Yeah, but the reason why our car sounds very different is the first thing is the throttle body. It's 125 millimeters, so
Which
it's
is
really
ridiculously big.
Yeah, you can basically almost put your head in it.
Or I mean, you could fit how many babies could go in there? Like
At
that's
least
how-
one. You
At least
can
one
just-
full size baby.
At least can suck like 2 babies in it.
I mean, that's a Latvian measurement for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everything's in
Right.
babies.
And then
Chubby babies.
the other thing is like, we have the headers are from Inconel, and the X pipe and the straight pipe is from titanium, the very thin material, 0.9 millimeters. So that's why it gives that it's called like resonance.
Yep.
Yeah, those two things, like when they come together, it's crazy sound coming out, especially in Atlanta when you're coming down the hill. Yeah, it's between the trees and that like a tunnel. It sounds crazy.
Yeah. And you unexpectedly drove the Eurofighter E92 in Irwindale last year. And that was a debut that you didn't hope to have, but you did. How much has the car progressed since then? You obviously weren't ready for FD, or that car wasn't ready for FD at the time, but you drove it anyways just because you wanted to compete. But what has gone into the car since that test round last year?
Oh, everything is upside down completely because for the Irwindale wasn't died at all. But the good thing about the Irwindale was that if we wouldn't took it out, probably I would be in overall standings like in the 8th position. But getting into the top 16, we managed to stay in the top 5. That was the good point about it.
Yeah.
And as well, we did some tests. We figured out that it reacts as a shit. It won't run like this. So we definitely have to figure out something how to get the speed up and more control. And that's what we talking to the Weisswab guys. We figured out how to get the forward grip on that specific suspension, and playing with the sway bars and as well as the front suspension, we get that car dialed. And only in Orlando we understood how compatible and how much potential is in that car. And Atlanta proved it. because we were only like maybe 50% from the maximum grip that we potentially could get on that suspension. So there is a lot more than you have seen yet.
Yeah,
man.
that's awesome to hear. And your win in Atlanta was, I think, my favorite drifting moment of the season so far, because everyone was so happy to see you up there from Forsberg. I think who else was on the podium? It was Forsberg and Peter or Dean. I don't recall, but everyone was just so
Frederick.
happy. Yeah, everyone was so happy because they knew that you've been trying for so long, and you were just short of getting that win, and then you finally got it in Atlanta. It was great, and you let out a primal Latvian scream that Paco edited to sound insane. Or was that Corey that
That was
edited?
Corey.
I
It was
forget
Corey.
Yeah.
which- Yeah.
I did.
Which,
I did my own impersonation though.
Yeah, let's hear your Paco or your Kristaps. I just
Battle
scream.
cry. Christoph's battle cry.
Why don't you have Kristaps interview me? Have him ask me a question.
Okay, so you want Kristaps to ask Paco a question?
Ask Kristaps a question.
Oh, so Kristaps is asking Kristaps
Yes.
a question. All right.
Kristaps, you are Kristaps in this case, Paco.
Yeah, just hey, Kristaps, how does it feel when you finally beat Frederick in the finals and got that top podium spot?
Wow.
Can you describe it?
Yes. So Fredrik and I have a long story. Before Long Beach, I told him he was a boop,
Uh-huh.
and
Pussy. That's
now
the word.
Pussy,
yes.
yeah.
That's a word.
But now I show him Latvian supremacy. Wah!
That was pretty
Wow. I
good.
just
feel
felt
the
like I
energy
was in
a little
Atlanta.
low. You can do louder, Paco.
Huh?
Yeah.
mean-
No, I don't want
Paco,
to.
Kristaps,
I almost
Paco?
destroy my own
I mean, like
headphones.
it's been a month ago, so probably his emotions is kind of.
Yeah.
I'm not drunk enough.
No, you are still drunk from Atlanta.
From
Things you
Atlanta.
haven't came off. You've been drinking every day.
I'm still
Well, I thought-
hangover.
Celebrating Latvia ever since Kristaps won.
I thought that Kristaps only drank white wine, but I'm pretty sure I saw him drink champagne that night, which is kind of, it's not white. It is
Yeah.
kind of white wine, I guess, but
Sparkling.
it's sparkling, yeah.
Sparkling apple juice.
Yeah.
But then also, I think I saw you drink a beer as well, so I feel like my whole life is a lie.
That's him converting slowly into an American, but that just
next-
takes a little
next-
more time and a little more beer.
Next thing he's gonna be drinking apple ciders, like reds
Oh, yeah.
and yeah.
Or White Claw.
Oh,
Have you had a
ooh.
White Claw before, Kristaps?
White Claw?
Yeah, they're
is
the
that?
unofficial sponsor of our show. White Claw is like, Pat Gooden can tell you all about it. Maybe next time you see Pat Gooden. Speaking of, are you planning on going to a Grid Life this year? I know you were in the previous years.
I think it's in August. Probably not. I don't know because it's where is it? It's in it's in
Atlanta. Yep.
Yeah, it's probably what is it like the other side of the country? From if you look on where is the FD schedule?
Yeah, our
Right.
schedule is kind of weird. Is that we have Seattle and then St. Louis and then Texas and then.
So it's
or-
probably after St. Louis, so it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but most likely not, because we already like spending a lot of time in US, and there's a lot of things to do back home. But maybe next year. Every year I'm saying maybe next year.
Yeah.
See how it goes. Yeah, we still have some challenges back in US because on the way to Seattle, our truck broke down again. So that's the thing that we have to solve now to get back on the road. So the Grid Life is probably the last thing I would think about now.
Yeah, it sucks. What went down with your truck? If you want to talk about it.
But before that, we just had a question on Super Chat on YouTube from
Okay.
from
It's a
Car.
live question.
Yes.
Question from someone.
Yep. Question from
From
Car, like Night Riders, the bad car. Kristaps, what is the best kind of champagne?
The winners.
The winners.
The winner's champagne.
It doesn't matter how bad it is. If you win it, it always tastes good.
Tastes like
Is
glory.
By the way, the last one in Atlanta wasn't that good, but it was. Who cares?
yeah.
It's just
Wait,
cooked,
the
right?
champagne wasn't that good, or the win wasn't that good?
No, the champagne wasn't that tasty. So I would probably suggest that the officials probably to before they make a decision what brand to take it, probably taste it.
Right. So rather than getting a
Dom
3,
Perignon or some Cristal, what do you
No,
prefer?
it doesn't have to. It probably have to be
At least a
more-
$6
I-
bottle.
I would probably choose semi-sweet.
Semi-sweet. So
yeah.
you are a champagne drinker. We figured it out.
So you don't like
Special.
you don't like Brut?
Yeah, Brut could probably. Brut is fine when you're hanging out, but not for the podium.
For celebration, you want something like literally the sweet taste of victory.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
man, I'm so glad he got Paco as a crew chief.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, I have
finally.
got-
So maybe, yeah.
I'll make sure
Maybe
you have.
he can fix it.
I'm gonna make sure you guys have like Mexican apple soda for the victory next time.
Manzanita Soul.
Manzanita Sol.
I think bottles of tequila would be fun too. 'cause
Oh,
you
I'm
could
down.
just, you just shake the tequila all over the other people, and
Spray
then
in
the worm
people's
comes out of
eyes.
the bottle.
Mm.
Someone has got to pick up the worm off the ground. Some lucky fan gets the worm, has you sign it, and then he drinks the worm.
That's mezcal, by the way, but sure.
Whatever. Christoph, have you ever drank too much tequila?
Exactly. Yeah, that was when I was, I don't know, like I think it was around 18. What that would be probably 20 years ago.
Couple years ago.
But yeah, I got poisoned.
Ooh.
Yeah, and since then it's a problem for me to drink a tequila. Yeah.
Yeah,
Once I'm
yes.
tasting
Yeah.
it a bit, I want to throw.
I can imagine you can find the most premium tequila in Latvia.
Oh yeah, I'm
You
sure
know,
it's
it's
delicious.
like
Straight from Russia.
Next door, exactly.
It's Russian tequila.
Some counterfeit tequila.
When you're 18, probably you don't feel a limit, and when you're in
Yeah.
a nightclub, it doesn't matter what you're drinking because it's the most important is just fun. And then in the morning you realize what kind of how shitty you feel.
A self-induced poisoning.
Yeah, when you
God
poison
damn.
yourself with unknown drinks.
I find that like that's the one side of me actually maturing at least a little bit as I advance into my 60s or however old I am at this point. Is that like at this point I'll now turn down a shot of tequila at the bar. Someone's like, "Hey Sam, let's do a shot of tequila." I'm like, "Nah, dog."
Oh no.
That's gonna be a no for me, dog. Like I used to only a short decade ago. Like, yeah, as much booze as possible. Let's put it in my body. See what
free.
happens. At this point, I'm like,
Exactly.
I don't want to pay for 48 hours because that's what ends up happening. As I'm kind of in the same boat today. From Saturday, I went out, had a good time. Still feel like shit on Monday. What's up, guys?
That's called getting
Yeah.
old.
Exactly.
It sucks. I hate it.
That's how you learn the things, right?
Yep.
When you try them.
Real quick,
Okay.
I want to, as we're talking about Atlanta, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about this Latvian Lovers Sweet Victory. I do want to point out once again, we still have your jack stand, and we look at it every single Monday.
Yeah, there it is.
Every single Monday, we look
Like
at your
that.
jack
When
stand.
we get into the studio, this is what we do.
So Paco's going to show you our ritual. So, by the way, can you show him the beads? Can you just pull that
Always
down?
does the people's elbow and just
Pull the whole jack
nails.
stand out because we got to show Christoph's how we decorate it.
The procedure we usually use.
Okay, so Paco's going to do the ritual first. He pets it,
Yeah,
kisses
pets
his
it,
hand,
kisses,
and then
touches.
touches the beads. Yep.
Okay, 2 times.
Yep. So we're gonna have Paco bring it down and show you because this is one of our pride possessions.
So there is a ritual that
beads
you
on.
have to fill before you touch it, right?
All right.
Yep.
So here's this is the infamous jack stand, which there was only 2 of them. We ended up getting
Which
one.
was last year at Atlanta. Kristaps
Yeah.
being the badass Latvian drove off of it. Oh god.
So do you see that, Christophs?
And that's how we.
I see those balls hanging.
Yeah,
there.
those are Paco's good luck
The
beads.
glass
Those are,
bearings.
Okay.
Those are Paco's binoculars.
They're
Why
Paco's-
only 2? Where's the rest of them?
Paco,
You
everybody's
animal.
sorry.
So Paco left them somewhere. I don't know where they're at.
Christoph's such a
But
beast.
every time he stands up, it makes a funny sound. Can you just take us through this moment again? Because this is probably actually did you vote for Kristaps to win in Atlanta this year?
I had him on my top 4.
I had you winning Atlanta because of this, and you ended up coming through. So, in case you don't know, we do the halftime show, and we pick our top 3 predictions, and I had you winning because of this moment. So, it's a win chime now, actually.
That's a good sound, right? That's a sound of victory.
But
Yeah,
so the
well,
jack stands.
what
How
was-
was this year different with the jack stands? Like, what happened in that moment? Obviously, you're
He
itching
got
to win.
sturdier jack stands.
Is that what it was?
well, we didn't have a chance this year to put it on the jack stands, but last year, yeah, I'm happy. Actually, I'm happy that nobody got hurt on that mystery that happened last year, and glad it turned out like more like a fun, because theoretically it could be someone's leg could be on the ground, and I just like drove it off the jack stands, but um, it was fun. I don't know, like there was nothing else I could do probably, and just like all in. That's it. And yeah, it turned out more like a really fun story.
I mean,
In Latvia, everything has price. Leg, not so expensive.
leg is just a leg. If you lose a leg,
Leg is just a leg.
Yeah,
who
you can
cares?
get another one somewhere else. Yeah, so then that was the thing, is I think that was a lot of things happened that night, and that's where Formula Drift kind of changed, actually, since that moment, because that was one of the first times that they actually documented a 5 minutes on the live stream. Like that full 5 minute window, that was the first one that they actually started documenting, and I couldn't think of a better situation to do like a first time live broadcast from the hot pits rather than being on Kristaps and his crew, because that was the first time we also saw you also raise a big fuss on the internet, because you had Turk, you had Forsberg, you had like 10 people working on your car, and then people made a post about it, actually, people helping each other. But that first live stream went crazy over that first 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's a fun moment.
But a lot of things changed last year, like starting from the Long Beach when they had those black view cameras inside the car, when you can hear what the guys are talking, like the PE story about, and then few events later the jack stands. So it was in terms of
exposure.
in terms of exposure for the first three events last year was crazy. So yeah, not on a way we planned, but it turned out like really fun.
Yeah, definitely created one of the most talked about stories in FD.
And that's one of the things that we talk a lot on the show, that it's not necessarily about winning. It's about how do you and what you do when you are at the event. You know, like
Well, that's why Kristaps has become, I think, one of the favorite drivers in the pack, is because he's such a little sweetheart, as we see here. Look at that! Look at that smile.
Look at that, just beautiful.
Look at that little Latvian smile.
Oh, there it is.
It's not important what you do; it's important how you do it, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, that's the first time. That was, I think, when people just started saying, "This dude's a fucking animal." I think that was the first time where people just saw this guy and was like, this guy just doesn't care.
He's a sweetheart, but an animal.
Yeah.
He does care. He does care
And-
immensely, but he's an authentic. All right, close your just put your hands over your ears as earmuffs it, Kristaps, real quick. We're gonna
don't
talk
listen
real
to
nice
Sam real
things about
quick.
you. I don't want you to get too big of a head. There you go.
Okay.
All right, so now that Kristaps can't hear, he's just such an authentic, nice guy, and you're not sure if he's gonna murder you. Like, that's just kind of fun about him. Is that like, I don't know what he's been through.
Right.
Like, I don't know where he's been from. Like, he's probably killed a couple people, right?
He
Like,
probably has.
but he's
Not for free.
No, he probably
for
has.
free.
Not
Probably
for free.
he was a hitman in a past life. I don't fucking know. He's terrified.
Yeah.
He scares the shit out of me.
Well-
all right, you can come back.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
I was gonna finish
All right,
it
sorry.
off.
One more time.
What was it?
Kristaps,
What was
your
it?
earmuffs.
Earmuffs one more time, Kristaps. So,
Thank-
Sam, the other thing too is, like, before that, Kristaps was just this quiet dude that had this rad car, and it was hard to figure out who Kristaps was because he was just the dude behind the wheel. But that moment when everybody's like, "That's the guy," that moment put the killer in Kristaps, because everybody
And-
was before that. It was just Kristaps, the Latvian lover, the freak in the sheets, and the killer in the streets. And now it just proved the point. But
I think,
anyways.
guys, I think Kristaps can read lips.
I don't know. All right,
Yes, he-
Kristaps, you can go ahead and remove
let's-
the earmuffs.
All right, did you hear any of that, Kristaps?
What?
Okay,
All right,
awesome.
cool,
Perfect.
Great. So, anyways, freak. Corey came up with a new term for you. Freak in the sheets, killer on the streets. That could be a title of the show if we can fit it all.
Yeah, that one came up good.
Okay. Well, what do you mean? What do you mean it came up good? You heard that already? You
Oh
couldn't
no,
have heard that.
you got to listen to the episode actually.
Shit.
So real quick, how did that moment change? Did you notice that moment changing kind of your FD path? Even if something as dumb as driving off the jack stands, what type of response did you get off of that?
It definitely changes alignment. Let me tell you that.
I'm happy. You guys are happy about it. But otherwise, how did it change? Probably it gained some more fans because last year we got the fan favorite driver, if we manage to do the same this year, then probably we are doing something different than the other guys do. But I don't know exactly what it is because we just like doing our own thing, and maybe we just since we are from different continents and we just like we acting different, we playing different, we talking different, we just like are different. That's what I think like the fans like about us. Just we are a little bit different than the rest of the grid. I don't know. We'll
Do
see
you
how it
think?
turns out. So.
Do you think Americans are too soft?
I think they are.
Yeah.
They have
Yes.
like you have a soft
Well,
belly.
there is too much democracy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Too
right.
much.
God, I love
Too
it.
soft.
Yep.
Too soft.
We all spent a couple years in a
you have these
Siberian gulag.
European
We don't
foreigners
leave them
coming over to our own land, Sam, and they're taking over our sport. We're just
It's true.
we're forfeiting to them. We're giving up.
Well, thankfully, Kristaps is driving for America this year.
Oh, that's
and
true.
He's,
Yeah.
he's showing
He's
those,
switch hitting.
those Irish and Polish guys what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but by the way, if you look in the overall standings, so you see, look at those names.
I'm looking right now. Yeah.
Let's take a look.
They're like 5 of 6 or 4 out of 5 are like Europeans. So
Well, Forsberg and Pollock are in top 5, but Dean, Osbo, and Wiecek are the other 3 in the top 5. Then we have Kristaps in 6. And also, it's kind of crazy to note. So Dean and Frederick and Forsberg are all within a 40-point spread, which is pretty crazy. And then also you have Peter, Justin, Kristaps, Forrest, and then are all like within 15 points of each other ish.
yeah.
And then just a few points off from there is Odie, Field, Turk, and then it goes down from there. But like everyone is super close right now, which is
Yeah,
pretty
that's what I'm
insane.
saying. Yeah, the last round in Wall, the top guys were knocked out like pretty early, and the guys from starting from 5th to 10 just claim up, and they are. I think it wasn't as this tight as it's now, like for the past few years at least. Though, next few rounds will definitely we'll see some really tight battles, and everybody's gonna probably push so hard.
Let's talk about your battle at Wall real quick because Ken Juicy, one of our favorite guests on the show, he's the most handsome driver, the most Ab City driver it's ever had. But I feel like you kind of kicked his ass all over the track, and you were only held back by the fact that his car was in your way. So it's like you were chasing him, and I just got the impression that like if Gucci could just drive faster, you could really flex. But your car was turned up to 11. It looked super tight, and you were just struggling to not run him over. Was that true? Was my observation correct?
Hard to say, like about that small collision or the contact that gave us a rerun. It was just a bad luck. It turned out. I think Ken wasn't on purpose, just being on my
I don't
rear
think he was
wheel.
intentionally being slow or anything, but
It just was like, just a bad luck, one of hundreds. So the next probably we will do the next 100 runs. Nothing like that would happen probably. But after all, in one more time run, our car that whole weekend we were struggling with the settings. We couldn't find the right setup for the bank. And but after event, we figured out what needs to be done, and I'm glad the next ones we know what to do on the flat ones, but on the banks, it was a challenge, but we figured out, and next race competition should be way better.
I've heard a rumor from the other drivers that every driver adjusts their car to some extent depending on who they're going up against. But I've heard from other drivers that you and your team just kind of turn it up to 11 the whole time. So you guys are just like, you guys are full speed, full tight, full grip all the time. Is that true, or?
We are kind of addicted to speed. Yeah, we don't adjust the car based on who against we are going.
Yeah.
We just like starting from the practice. We dialing the car. We doing the qualifying the same setup we doing in the competition. We just like dial the car and then just throttle it, and that's it. We don't play any loose or grippy setups. We just like just max, and that's it.
I love it.
Sometimes it turns out very well, sometimes not, but we just, I don't know. We don't have a notes like I don't know, like a crazy amount of notes like the Vaughn's team has, or the Worthouse has a file probably more than you can imagine about yourself.
Yeah, right. They
But,
have a dossier. I'm sure like Vaughn, I think Vaughn's team kind of pioneered doing that to some extent of like taking vehicle speeds of everyone and taking notes on how every driver
Exactly.
has been
We're
driving.
just playing wild.
Which is that's one of the endearing parts about your program too, is that you guys are just like, fuck it, turn it to 11 for everyone. We'll go out, which has been very successful for you against Osbo and Dean. But then when you, again, not to shit on Gucci at all, but it's like his car was not nearly as fast as yours by all appearances. It's like I feel like it was less successful against him because you just wanted to drive through him.
No, it wasn't that bad. So he has a good tire as well.
Yeah.
Not the best tire, but the good enough. And his car, I would say probably the FRS is probably the one of the worst setups that drift car could probably have, because it's like a cubic. It's the same length as it's wide, and that's why it will never be competitive like
Really?
constantly. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, well,
That's
because you
the
guys
real
at
life.
you guys at HGK have been building an FRS, and you're not a you now know the car's limitations.
Yeah, haven't driven it, but it feels like it. Yeah, most of the guys who wants to build it, that looks cool, but it's in a terms of technical wise, it's not as good as it the potentially the other chassis has. I think the wheelbase is too short for it and it's too wide.
That's the big problem. You see, it's not the suspension geometry. It's just. I guess by definition, that would be.
Yeah, same thing like the Mad Mike Weir like.
The Miata. Well, the Miata obviously struggled. Everyone in Miata
struggling
has
with
struggled.
MX-5, and
Yeah.
it's hard to just compete in such a level with such a geometry. I think that's the problem.
I've heard that rear or is it front suspension travel? I forget is also an issue because like either the width of the boxer engine. I don't recall if it's the front, but is the and maybe it's not the travel. Maybe it's the angle. I don't know. What do you guys? I don't want to spread misinformation.
Yeah, I don't know that specifically what's wrong with suspension, but I think that the wheelbase itself it's too short.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was really interesting. Also, last week talking to Riley Sexsmith, Pro 2 drifter, hearing about like he drives or did drive professionally, and then now just has it as his party car, a Subaru SGI drift car essentially, and they're just saying how the rear suspension doesn't allow nearly enough adjustability to ever be an effective drift car in today's climate. And it's weird to think that now drifting has gotten so fast and so professional, I guess, that certain cars that you would think may be good, like an FRS, are just out because
it's just getting too serious.
Yeah. So do you think that that's fine and just some cars aren't good at it, or should FD make the rules so you can change and hack up cars more?
I think the way it is, it's everybody's own decision what chassis to drive, and some of them are like too narrow, some of them are too short, some of them are too heavy. It's. I think when you choose the chassis or the guys, most of the guys been driving with the chassis like for the past 5, I don't know, even maybe 10 years. And at that time, they just nobody actually had the information, what is good and what is bad. Everybody was trying to do the best and trying to set up his own car the best way. But nowadays, you can see that not all the chassis are the same. Some of them are better, some of them not. Yeah, there's some technical rules that are created or limited that you cannot just like go really crazy. There is only one exception, the Fredericks car, because that one is like I think that's the car that has the most creative and custom parts that everybody has built.
Which like Steven Papadakis like laughs in the face of this conversation we're having.
Steven Papadakis,
Well, Steven Papamamakis, excuse me. I like butchering his name as Paco says. But I mean, he will laugh in the face of people saying a car is not good enough from the factory. He'll be like, fuck this.
Well,
well, it's not good. Guess what? It's not good because it's front wheel drive.
Right.
So the other thing
the
too
way
that
how they change everything, it's amazing.
So the other thing too that I wanted to bring up is, talking about simplicity. We all know Kristaps has a $3 million budget. We've heard it on the internet before. $3.5 million budget.
Yeah.
$3.5 million car. That's just the car.
The car's $3.5 million. Then he has another $3.5 million to spend on his program. But Kristaps,
and then we are like taking the car all the way back and forth in an airplane. Don't forget about that.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to ask you this, Kristaps. For having a $10 million program, why do you only have 3 people on your team? Here's a picture of Kristaps.
Corey's showing a picture of your podium at Atlanta, and usually there's like 15 to 20 people on the podium because you've got your models, you've got your social media guys, you've got your media guys.
Let's cut through this real quick. So first shot, Brian, if you want to cut back, here is a picture of Kristaps and his whole team. What a lovely looking family.
I mean, so it's like a $3 million budget,
Program.
so each one
So
gets
each
$1 million.
$1 million.
Exactly.
Okay,
I mean, that's the.
So this is a lean and mean team, and then go ahead, flip the other picture, and have a picture. And if you look
You're
over there,
saying that this
Sam.
team has too much fat
Sam
on it
is
'cause I'm
even
in
a
there?
part of
Did you
Von's
say they should
team.
cut the fat.
And Sam's in the
So
front.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Hey, there's 2 guys who doesn't have the team shirts. Who are they?
Yeah. Well,
There's-
because I had to wear my media. I was wearing my vest that's full of
Excuses.
GoPro batteries and screwdrivers,
Whatever.
condoms, and and then AJ is like he was the media team guy at the time.
Yep.
But yeah, so I guess the big question here, Kristaps, is why do you hate women? Like, why don't you have any hot chicks?
Well, hard to say. Actually, yeah, it's interesting why we have such a budget, only 3 people in the team. We are not Jewish, so probably we it's not like we are like want to keep all the money
Stingy,
ourselves.
I'll let that one slide, Kristaps.
Yeah, the other one is like hard to say. Maybe because we are not lazy. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's interesting.
You just run a tight program, and I guess right now you don't need more people. But then at the same time, you still had Forsberg and Turk and everyone helping you in Atlanta last year. Like when someone
no. Actually, it's pretty tough. Pretty tough because you have to do so many things in the same time, and not only do, but you have to remember or think like two steps ahead. Not forget something, but you always will because there is not enough people in the team. But we are just trying to focus on the main things. To get the best result possible on that specific weekend. That's it. And I didn't even had a single time to do an onboard this year because I was just too busy with something else. So maybe it's just like a small thing, but you always forget about it because there is something more important than just to get some shots.
Yeah.
We're pulling
See
up
how
the.
it goes. So. We'll be all right. I think we're planning to add one more guy. So
you just added
starting from
Paco.
mid-season. So, I mean, like one more beside the
Including
one
Paco.
what we already gained in after our victory in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Obvious.
So I think it will be all right. We've been dealing like this for the 3-4 years. That's
But
fine.
you said you also had truck problems, and obviously you don't.
Well,
You would love to have a team as big as Vaughn's, but I imagine you would if you had the budget for it.
And
so
Kristaps-
there's this misconception though that because you have these insanely built cars that you guys are just fucking flush with money, and I think that's not true.
Flush with money. So there's a lot of things like many companies, many guys are helping us out, and that's we just reinvesting everything we make in our own team, and that's the result that comes out the best thing. Just don't be a selfish bitch and just do the best you can.
Yeah. Well, how do people buy shirts? How do they directly support HGK? What?
Yeah,
like, instead of buying a expensive car, which I'm sure we all would love to have. Everyone would buy a Eurofighter if they could afford it. But how else do they support you rather than buying a Eurofighter?
Yeah, we have a few team shirts we start selling this year. First, you have to build the name, right? And then
Right.
start to sell the merch. So that's what we did, like, for the past 3 years. Everybody was asking, we want a team shirt, we want some merch. It was like, sorry, guys, there is nothing available. But yeah, we made some shirts, we made some stickers. Yeah, it's just... that's something you can make, at least for the food,
Right. So now,
to not starving, yeah, because most of the time we're just like starving and living under the bridge and sleeping with weird people.
well, that's
Yeah,
the best. I love
it's tough. It's
weird
tough.
people's the best.
Well,
Yeah,
one
that's the best. That's the best. Something to remember
Yeah, you
all
have to make your own borscht. You bring your own tomato. You buy them from the tomato stand outside of town.
Yeah, we hiding them in our clothes when we are going through the customs. It's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
well, one other thing too, Kristaps. Is it true the 3 people in this photo is HGK?
No,
Where's
No.
where's
there's
the
a K
so
there.
there's the
there
K.
and
that
a
probably be HVK.
HGK, yeah.
So HGK, where did that come from?
Hey, again,
No, just real quick. It's named after 3 people, correct?
just the 3 guys came together, like, and the HGK is just the
The
first
first name.
letters from the names.
So it's you,
And
And-
created the team.
right? And so
Me, the other guy, and the Harrys.
there you go.
But I think Valdez told me that his name somehow also can be pronounced with a G.
Gunvaldis.
There you go. So that
There's your
he makes
HGK.
it. He makes a G right there. So
Yeah, but I'm like, whoever can bring us like a 3 million budget, we
Yeah.
probably will exchange the middle letter to his letter.
Yeah, there you
Gotcha.
go.
You'll get rid of them.
So it could be like HSK.
HPK. If
Who?
Paco steps up. Paco's rich.
HPK.
HPK, yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, everybody knows I have plenty of millions just lying
Right,
around.
that's true.
Millions of pesos, which
So-
translates to like a couple $100.
We don't need plenty, just a few.
Yeah. Well, I can go from team manager to team owner.
That'd be a great.
Totally okay with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I-
just got promoted once again, Paco.
It's going hard. I'm going a little too fast.
Well, thankfully for you,
slow
Kristaps, millions of people are watching the show right now. Hundreds of millions. Most of
easy.
them rich.
Bigger than the
Sold out.
soccer
The
game.
show is sold out.
Yeah, this podcast is sold out. Facebook is like, no, we got to cut it off. Too much bandwidth. But yeah, so you're going to be getting a lot of calls about free money pretty soon here. Just get ready.
Perfect.
Do you
Wow.
want to go to Graham questions? Do we have more? Actually, before we go to Graham questions, let's talk a bit more. People have been asking about HGK as they always want to. Everyone still wants to know about this business and about the cars you build. What are the big projects that you can talk about right now? You guys are always making crazy drift cars. What are some of the things you're working on?
Just finishing the project we started last year, because usually within a year we built like 3 to 5 cars, depends on what level it is, and but in near future what we wanna do, we wanna make or build the same name, the HGK kit car, but the kit car that is mean to use as well as on a drift, as well on a circuit racing. So basically, low cost, I don't know, the low cost fun cars, low cost weekend car that you can just load in your trailer and just go and have fun on a circuit racing, high speed, or you want to drift and something like that, and it's affordable, so it doesn't cost, I don't know, 200K or something like that.
Right.
So it's really affordable, and just you can have a passenger, and it costs it, and affordable amount of money.
But so has that HDK attention to detail, because like I had never seen I saw inside the Eurofighter cockpit at Irwindale last year, and even did a post about how funny it was that you had a little cup holder for your sparkling water, your flavored sparkling water, which it has the best interior of any drift car. I think it is the best form of the drift car I've ever seen. Like the attention to detail on the exterior and the interior as well. If any of you will get a chance to peek inside the car for the rest of the season, please do, because it's wild how that car is not the biggest car, but the interior is so spacious. The way the cage has been built, the way the interior has been laid out, the way that you have carbon fiber, not only dash and everything, but also floor pan. That's something I've never really seen. Everyone just kind of does exposed floor. And if I remember correctly from at Brodown, I was playing inside your car for a second to set up a GoPro while you were giving James Dean a ride. But yeah, the inside of the car blew my mind because it was easy to get in and out of. There was tons of space. Like I'm just blown away that is the interior of one of the most competitive drift cars in the world right now.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to have a race car that it's always basically it's nice to come back in the race car to sit, so it doesn't have a I don't know, unfinished door panels or wires hanging out. Yeah, it's really pleasure to sit in a car and just having a fun.
Yeah, which is also funny too, because I guess we can talk about that now, because you gave James Dean and Dean Carney a ride around the Englishtown track at Brodown, and I set up a GoPro because I figured it'd be good for our blackout video series with Forsberg and Turk. And James Dean, it's always funny to see drift car drivers getting rides from other drift car drivers, because they either have like ridiculous reactions or almost no reaction. And I could see that James Dean was a little bit scared for some moments as Kristaps enters corners and goes 100 miles an hour around this track that is usually for cars in second gear, third gear. But James Dean was by and large, like, I don't want to say unimpressed, but he was either very scared or just dialed in and like just analyzing. So it's cool to see regular fans riding around and are like terrified and moving around and just getting tossed around. But James Dean was just like sitting there, arms crossed, just like feeling it all. It was fun. You could tell he's having fun.
Maybe it was hangover.
Maybe
Yeah.
It well also could have. That's the other thing too, though, is that James did say that he wasn't driving because he was in no condition to drive, or maybe he didn't say that. I don't know. Maybe it was someone else who said that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I'm happy that you came to that event because you made the video good. Because without Kristaps, Forsberg would have not really had a good tandem session. But you were there with Forsberg the whole time. It was rad.
Yeah, since we starting from 2015, since we came to US, the guys at Club Rules invite us, and once we got there, we never missed that event.
Yeah,
it's really a cool place to be.
You shredded it.
So, Graham, questions, boys?
Let's hit them. Graham questions.
All right.
These are questions from Instagram. We're also going to look at Facebook and YouTube a little bit. So throw down your questions if you want to, for sure, get your question answered. Do that YouTube. What's it called again, Paco?
Super chat.
What's that?
You can call it the Power YouTube, sure.
Power tubes. Yeah. So if you donate $1 or $5,000, we won't judge you. If it's $5,000, they'll be fine with us, and we'll give $2,500 to Kristaps' program.
Yep.
But you'll get your question answered as well. But yes, these are Instagram questions from earlier and a couple other questions. I'll start one up from some.
I got one if you don't, Sam.
No, I got it.
All right, go for it.
Crisp floor bag 6-4s. When are coming back home?
When are coming back home?
Yeah.
What's the username?
Chris Forsberg 64.
Crisp Forsberg 64. When are coming back home?
In few months. In few months. In few months. Yeah. Have some things to do over here.
Hey, you're right. He's talking about his house and get hot tub hangs that.
I got that. Yeah, I miss that place. Yeah, definitely missing the Cali because that's the my famous place in US. So always nice to start there, hanging out with Chris, and then coming back and do the same.
Could you ever see yourself moving?
I'm missing my home. Yeah.
Oh. Could you ever see yourself moving your family to Los Angeles, or are you Riga for life?
Most likely Riga for life, maybe just over the hot season someday. We'll see how it goes. But
Once you get that $3
it's-
million a year sponsor, you can afford to have a place in each.
yeah, I mean, like I'm sure I cannot get that soft, so I'm not gonna
Right,
stay
that's
there.
true. Good point.
Yeah,
Good
Riga
point.
keeps you strong.
If you can come to Arizona, we're not soft here.
No, we're
It's California
The Wild
is a lot
West.
softer. Here in Arizona, we have
So-
we have no
Yeah, well,
laws.
That's honestly why I'm so fucking hard. I'm not a softie at all. Like I'm just one hard bro. It's because I grew up in Arizona because I had to deal with 115 degrees
and
every day.
rattlesnakes.
I had to, we
Scorpions.
drink. That's one thing you don't know about Arizona people is we drink all of our own piss because there's not enough
Because
water.
no water here.
So
yeah.
it's
It's
we're
like
hard.
the, it's like the movie
I've seen
Waterworld.
those movies, yeah.
Uh,
Well,
I,
guess what?
Hold on.
You're dealing with the heat. I'm dealing with the cold here.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think that in the grander scheme of things, like I almost like the heat better. I know a lot of people say, well, at least with cold you can bundle up, and heat you can't really do anything other than get naked, which Corey and
I'm
Paco
okay
and
with
I
anyways.
always are, as you can
Yeah.
see. If you're watching the video portion right now, none of us are wearing clothes. Kristaps is wearing a shirt, but probably not pants.
no,
So that's one way to deal with it. But I feel like I'd still prefer the heat and the cold because
Right.
there still is this awful soul-sucking cold that you guys experience up there, right?
We have to look for the food. You just only have to look for the water or for the liquid. So
Yeah.
where to get the food? So you have to kill someone, right?
Right. Yeah, you got to eat people. That's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
Real quick, let me give one more quick question
Okay.
just to make sure it gets addressed. XSV219 says, honestly, I'd just love it if you called me a pussy.
Pussy.
Yeah, you got it. XSV, you got it. Congrats, man. There's a very limited number of people that have ever felt that. Maybe.
Or I have to say like fucking pussy.
Fucking pussy, yeah, it's better. That was so. This is referencing a moment from the Drift Long Beach where allegedly, according to video, you had yelled that to another driver, but that's not the full truth, right? That was a
It was a nice edit because there was a collision and then the video edit was like probably a few minutes later and then just it was a nice cutout and it was two different stories came together and turned out very cool.
But the driver in question was one that was on the podium at Atlanta with you, and you guys hugged and kissed for a long time, and it was good to see that there is no, as far as I can tell, like I think we said it right after the show there too. It's like there is no great drama in FD
There
right
is no
now,
great drama.
and that's beautiful. No, we mean that in a good way. Is that there isn't any like scandalous shit. It's like everyone seems happy. Everyone's driving the best they've ever driven. And obviously not everyone's happy. I take that back. But there's no great scandal. There's no fucking crazy bad blood rivalry. It's just a bunch of dudes kicking ass, and it's fun to see.
Yeah,
Also, the
exactly.
bartender at Sneaky Pete's at E-Town, I forget what happened, what the exact context was because I was already getting drunk at the moment, but I forget. But he, I think I ordered the Kristaps drink because all the drinks were named after all the drivers. And then he's like, "Coming right up, you fucking pussy." That made
Here
me
you
happy.
go.
Kristaps drink came with a little bit of a Kristaps flavor.
With a
Nice.
crest of flavor. There you go.
I got a question here for Christoph from Butt Whistler 3. He wants to know what's your thoughts on the S chassis?
S chassis. They're pretty well. I think James and Pure are doing well. Forrest Wang are running. Pretty competitive, but still way different than the BMW. As much as I know, the front suspension adjustments are like really, really different way adjusted. The rear ones are probably pretty similar because the suspension wise it's similar E92 to S chassis, but the front ones are really different due to the relocation of the steering rack. But as you can see, E92 or the BMW performs better than the S chassis.
That's
I like
prove-
that.
You definitely
'Cause-
prove that.
Yeah, because believe it or not, but I think I haven't lost this chassis yet.
You haven't
What
lost
do you
an
mean?
I
S chassis
think
yet?
so. Like in a FD competition.
In the competition, he hasn't
so
lost to an S chassis yet.
yeah,
Oh, really?
I think so.
But you lost to an FRS. What does that say? Because you're just talking shit on FRSs.
Well, I didn't lost. I lost to myself, not
Yeah,
to
okay.
FRS.
That's true. There's so many good questions on here. We gotta spend some time on these.
I have,
Paco, you got
I have
some?
one from Facebook. Username Randy Sorensen. Wow, he didn't thought of an interesting name. Oh well, yeah. He's asking, "Hey, Christoph, are you ready for the dunes?"
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
200%.
Are you planning a Dunes trip with the Sorensens?
Yes, we did it last year, and thanks to the Randy and his family, they took us out as they said and as they promised, and we did it like for 2 full days. It was crazy, crazy cool experience, and I'm looking forward to go back and do the same. I think the Randy himself, and I remember when we arrived there, we went out on the dark, and then Harris took the dirt bike, and he started like riding as a crazy over the dunes, and the guys were like, "Hey, he's gonna kill himself like crazy Latvian." Yeah, starting from that point, we were like all the time on the bikes or the SUVs, and yeah, just having a blast on the dunes. Yeah, it's I would say it's I was riding the dirt bike this past weekend on the land, but yeah, on the dunes it's kind of scareless. You just are not scared because it's so soft all over the place.
Right. Well, I think that
That's what
sand
makes it
hurts.
so fun.
Sand could still hurt if you hit it at a high enough velocity.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we are not at that age that we are just overshooting. I'm old enough to predict the things.
Yeah. You're not as reckless as 21-year-old Kristaps may have been.
Yeah, when I was drinking tequila.
Well, maybe,
Yeah.
well,
That's
maybe.
part of the dunes.
Yeah, I
I'm
was gonna
sure
say. Well, maybe we would meet you out there in Paco's Avalanche
I think we should. No, in the Avalanche?
or the
Is he
Aztec.
on the Dolphin?
I'll upload to the Sorensen and Randy. We need to get you guys on the show soon. That'll be a good app. So we'd like to talk to you guys soon.
Oh yeah, by the
Maybe
way,
at the dunes.
we somehow need to get the Nicholas over to US and
Yeah, we'd like to talk to Nicholas.
having I don't know, a battle with the kid of the Randy, because
Yeah.
they're pretty much the same age, and see how the I don't know, the US
The
versus
next generation of drift.
the next
children.
generation. Yeah, we just have to like put them on a show and see how it works out.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a ton of really good questions here. Macho Man Randy Savage, how much cat food would someone need to pay you for a full E92 body kit?
Cat food.
Yeah, how much cat food?
Isn't
It's
that
like
like
that.
official
Is it
Latvia
what
currency?
grade? The basic, mid, or premium?
I mean, there's different volumes for each grade, I imagine. But let's say premium,
Like a
how much
fancy
premium
Fancy
cat food would
feast.
you- in pounds or kilograms, whatever unit measure.
Have no idea. I probably could say it in years, maybe.
years of cat food. All right, that's good.
Depends how big is the farm? Cat farm.
All right,
Well,
it's
plenty of food. Plenty.
plenty of food if you want a Kevlar carbon body kit. Ben Trainer, it's a good one. Serious question. Kristaps, what does style mean to you? 'Cause that's it.
Style?
Yeah, I would say that you are arguably a very stylish driver, but I don't think you are trying to be stylish. But that's my own 2 cents. What does style mean to you in drifting?
Means how long time the trail body is open. That's the style. That's the easiest way how you can judge the style. That's the easiest way how you can say that this is a style.
Yeah.
Not just like throttling all the time. Pap, 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 pap. That's not interesting. Just floor it and try to steer it all the way. And
The
that's the style.
duration. And that's what I think one of what makes you a lot of the fans' favorite drivers right now is because you hear it on your car and you hear it with certain other drivers' cars too, but you especially right now, you like going wide open and leaving it there for a long time, and you hear that 9,000 RPMs of LS motor go insane. It's
Yeah, that's
very
the style.
Yeah.
exciting. That style right there.
I have a question here from somebody with also a very original username. Username Jeff Jones. What's your favorite engine package outside yours? So I guess like no mast V8.
If you weren't running a Mass or an LS, what would you be running?
I had a quite good experience like a few months ago with the 2JZ, but in the terms of, I think it was like really like the mid setup, like something like 650 horsepower. But yeah, the way it picks up the RPM, it was quite good experience. If it runs without the issues, I think that's the nice setup. They're just inline six turbo probably. There's not much options beside the V8s, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, almost
Yeah.
everyone in the series. This isn't a fact. I can't back this up with numbers right now. Maybe someone else can. I feel like almost everyone in the series is running an LS or a 2J, right? I mean,
Well,
of course, there's some unique motors out there. The Mustang guys are running Ford motors and other stuff, but I'd say the most common two motors in the entire series is either a 2J
Well,
or
here,
an
let's
LS.
Sam. Let's look at this.
Yeah,
James
but-
Dean. Look, I'm going to go through the standings right now. James Dean, 2JZ,
Yeah.
Fredericks Osbo, his crazy four-cylinder, Forsberg with his turboed V6.
Yeah,
Peter,
so they're one-ofs, which is
2JZ.
unique that they're at the top, and they have one-of. Same with JTP. He's unique and has a one-off. But almost everyone else down from there is
So you
running
have
a 2J or an LS.
3, 4, 4.
Also, so
5.
Dean is 2J, Osbo's a one-of, Forsberg's a one-of.
I
Peter
think there's a
2J,
lot
Justin
less-
one-of, Christoph's LS, Forrest 2J, Odie LS, Matt Field LS, Turk 2J, Dye LS, Gucci. Is Gucci Super or 2J? He's 2J.
He's 2J.
2J.
Honadel 2J, Chelsea.
Honadell's
Ford 1-of.
V8 LS.
Yep. What is Essa running? Is he
That's
a
running
BMW?
BMW.
BMW.
Yeah.
Like European Jay-Z.
Yeah, but you get the point at this point. Like almost everyone is running a 2J or an LS minus a couple one-of special guys.
But I
yeah.
think it's a majority now swinging to turboed 6 cylinders or turboed 4. I
Well,
think it's
yeah, the
swing.
style
It
is
used to be the opposite where everybody was LS and the 2J guys were the unique ones, but now it's flopped.
Mhm.
The
I
turbo
think
inline
mostly
6 and
because
turbo
of
4.
Peter and Dean have really showed the capabilities of those motors, and I mean the other guys that have been running them since they have been
One.
prevalent drifting for a while. But yeah, it's
I think
it's
Corey,
interesting.
I think Corey just he just drove a 2JC once and now he's completely biased. Like
Drove a 2J for the first time, and he's biased
it.
now. Yeah. Did you hear that story, Kristaps, about how Corey drove his 2J car for the first time at Grid Life, and he thought the motor was broken, but it's just because he didn't know what turbo lag was. So he's like, oh, my motor is not working.
So
but someone's
cute.
like, did you rev it up to 6,000 RPMs? He's like, hold on, let me try that. And
that fixed it.
Fixed it. Yeah, it was just it was the loose nut behind the wheel.
Yeah.
So
There
loose
was a
nut
bug.
behind
There was a
behind the
bug.
pedal.
Behind the wheel.
Kristaps, are you slapping something against the table? I should have asked this earlier.
Chalk.
What is that? What are you doing? You've been making this noise all show.
I'm just like creating a painting.
Are you?
Oh.
What have you made?
Artwork.
I hope it's not a picture of us.
I hope it's a picture of Sam.
It's a nice
Kristaps, can we get that for the studio?
Yes.
Can you bring that?
Yes.
We'll
Well,
frame it.
Kristaps, if you could write Kristaps' age, whatever your age is. What is your age right now? How old are you?
2 times 19.
All right, if you could write Kristaps' age 38 on the bottom of that and
Put
and
him on
send
my
it to
fridge.
Seattle, please, I'm begging you. Kristaps' age 38.
We need that.
It'll go on the studio wall / fridge. We'll be very pumped.
All right.
All right, let's see. We got a couple more really good questions
I have-
here.
I have a good one
Yep.
from username Pixelwave. This is Big Balls Brian's wife
The
herself.
other half of Big Balls.
Yeah,
Half of
The-
big
that's
balls,
the
the
other
other half of the balls.
The
Yeah,
good half.
she's got my other half. Yeah.
Yes, she's a good half actually. She's asking Kristaps, would you ever consider opening an HGK shop in America? Lots of Pro 2 guys are going with the BMW route, so it seems like there would be a demand for it. And I think not only Pro 2, like a lot of people's actually starting to drift a lot of BMWs here.
I'm curious if there's any. Obviously, it's American drivers can't really go visit Riga often, but I wonder if it would really make much of a difference having a shop in America versus having like a showroom in America. But Christophs, what's your answer?
Yeah, just sounds like American dream.
Well,
Yeah.
you have the millions coming.
Right.
I mean,
Well, if you rename it HGK SCP, will help you.
SCP.
Sam, Corey, Paco.
Yeah. So we can just link all our names together and.
Or secure containment procedures. If
That's
you're a fan
pretty
of
much what it
the
was,
SCP
Sam, yeah.
website, which is insane. If anyone's listening to the show knows about the SCP Foundation, fuck yeah, guys, that's the best.
Suck it, Sam. Suck it.
Anyway,
Well, to bring the shop over to US probably sounds really complicated because then we have to. What is HGK stands for is like what we. It's our power is our guys, our technicians, mechanics, engineers. So it's not just like it's me or somebody else. Just HGK.
everyone.
If I have to bring over the HGK to US, I have to bring over like 9 families, which is like
yep.
like a school bus.
You have to delegate, Christophs. Eventually,
Yeah,
you're
you
going to
can
have to
delegate
let
some-
people do some of your work. So you
But I
can
guess
sit
then it
down and
wouldn't be
relax.
HGK because you guys are the ones doing the work on the car.
Well,
right?
then probably we need to teach some guys, find the right guys, and find the. It sounds like a lot of money,
Yeah, it does.
and I think we can be HGK as we are because we are here located in Latvia, and it's so small and so available. Like during the working hours, you can do probably 5 times more than you can do probably in LA, only because the short distances and the availability of all the parts here locally.
And you
So-
don't want to go outside for 8 months of the year because it's too fucking cold.
Too fucking cold, exactly.
And yeah, so but you could also the quality of the HGK team, you know, you can't really outsource that, I imagine.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be buying a 50,000 to a 150,000, I don't know, let's just say a 6-figure drift car or just automotive build in the first place, like you can afford a few grand for a plane ticket to Riga to see what it's all about, right?
Yeah, but as I said, like we later this year, if everything works well, we gonna kind of create the race car that is affordable for I don't know, Pro 2 guys or
Right.
any track day guys, and that's the way how you can get the HGK car and for a very low cost price.
You mentioned that earlier. What does that car look like to you, and how much does that car cost?
We are looking something around 80,000, and it will be based on. I haven't decided yet, but it will definitely be a tube chassis car, and with several setups available. But the basic one should be something around 80,000.
Which, before anyone scoffs at that price and says that's insane, Corey, your shitty 2J boss car. Sorry to be
Yeah.
called shitty. It easily costs that much if you don't include maybe sponsor deals and stuff like that, right?
Oh yeah,
mean,
for
easily.
easy,
That's just,
easy.
That's
I
just a
mean,
basic Pro 2
Sometimes the
cost
engine
at this
packages
point.
alone will cost
40 grand.
anywhere from 20 to 40 just for the engine, and that's not including anything else to get that thing to
Yeah.
run. You could just look at the plumbing and fuel system as another 10,000 or 5,000.
Well, crazy good transmissions right now are 10 to 20 or more. A motor is going to be 10 to 20, and then all the hours that you do in building a properly set up suspension and chassis, that's another 30,
Well,
but
40.
I
So it's
think-
like, oh, then suddenly there's this turnkey option from HGK. That,
480 sounds
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
dream.
I know, right?
But I think most people overlooks, like everybody thinks, oh, engine, transmission, differential, that's it. But overlooking like the amounts of wiring, like the amounts of like how much is like all the AN fittings.
Well,
the
yeah,
cost-
the fittings, the wiring,
the wiring, the
cage,
plugs. I mean, you have no idea. Like sometimes you end up spending another 10 grand just
but
in
then
little
there's the knowledge
things.
of where to put everything. Like,
Oh yeah,
you
Oh,
know,
no,
the,
yeah,
the
I'm-
ability to know how to build a proper drift car, how to set it up.
I'm
how
just talking
to-
about tangibles, like stuff that you can
Yeah.
actually buy that you could say, you know what, I spent time putting it together. A car can easily have 80 grand just in product. Without taking into account labor, without taking into account man hours.
The knowledge is what everyone needs right now.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee that there's a good amount of cars, at least even in the pro, definitely the Pro-Am field, but even in the Pro 2 field, maybe even in the Pro 1 field, there's a good amount of cars probably that are not set up to the best of their abilities.
That's my
there's
exact
still only
story.
a few masters of setup. Like for Corey had like Mike Kojima hanging out on his car the other day, so he got that advice from one of the masters. But there's probably only a handful of masters of drift car setup in the world right now, and it's like to have, and maybe we can call it the HDK guys. One of them. It's like there's only so many people that know how to set up a car as best as humanly possible, given development, given technology. Right now, I
think everybody is looking for the best setup. It's a new sport, and everybody is developing and still trying and testing a lot of things. Like even Vaughan, he's spending a lot of time on tests and stuff like that. And everybody's trying to look for the best setups, because always there could be something potentially better, and where you can gain some speed, gain a control, and having the best car. Potentially, so because there is no one who can tell you what is right and wrong. It's not like in the Formula One or DTM where like guys are driving for 70 years and everybody knows exactly how and where it works. That's why this is what makes it very interesting, because sometimes it can work out, sometimes not, and potentially stronger driver loses to the weaker driver and stuff like that. It's hard to predict how it's gonna turn out.
Yeah, and drifting right now is developing so fast, and that this year, this stylistic thing is prevalent, this setup thing is prevalent, and suddenly next year it could all change, and suddenly someone figures out the new thing, and everyone is going to follow suit. So it's still such a young sport and a young setup, and it's progressed so quickly already.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, let's do like one or two more questions.
Just to add real quick, I mean, there's somebody, Wade Wilson on the Facebook comments just mentioned like he has easily $12,000 on his missile car.
Yeah, and that's not uncommon. Like people have $10,000 to $20,000 quote unquote missile cars right now because, like we said on Drift Garage a few years ago, it's like missile cars are dead. You know, missile cars were fun for a minute because everyone just wanted to drive a crashed up KA 240, but now it's like, but now we can't just sit on that. We then got to improve, and we can still have party cars and all that, but the new party car is now the $10,000 car. Yeah. And that's not to say you still can't have fun drifting your $2,500 drift missile, but that is rare now. It's like almost all the missiles are 10 grand at this point because we all want to have angle, we all want to have at least a few hundred horsepower, we all want to have the right suspension and so on. So it's I
think Kristaps is writing over you talking.
He's still drawing.
He's still drawing.
Get him one more, Paco. Get him one more question, then we'll send him on his way.
Yeah. So Kristaps can go back to bed in a minute here. He woke up at
he hasn't gone to sleep yet.
5 a.m. for us, or he stayed up all night. I don't know.
Yeah,
he is in Latvia. He's in Riga right now, and thankfully he spent the time with us and woke up early as fuck.
Actually, I wasn't sleeping because I was so nervous about the show that I went to the bed like only at midnight, and then I was just like couldn't get sleep. Got up at 3 a.m. and just like going around the circle and just trying to come down. Just
we're so happy that you decided to go through with it. I mean, obviously, from the drift and like winning Atlanta and all that, it's not a lot of pressure, but it's a lot of pressure talking to such.
I know we're really intimidating.
Media.
We're really intimidating. You know, people confuse us as like mob members. They confuse us as like the mafioso.
People see Corey's biceps. They think he's too strong. People see my hair and like this guy must
too
be
wise, too smart.
And they see Paco and like, why is this guy still doing our country? And it's like, we don't know. We don't know. I'm sorry, Paco. All right, hold on. All right, three more questions.
One more.
I got one right here.
All right, go for it. Sam, hit it.
Seth Wright 777. Kristaps, quit fucking around and sucker punch someone already.
Nice.
Not a question.
Statement.
But I love it because people think of you as that person, and that's what I love.
But remember, he's a lover, not a fighter. Get it right, Seth.
Oh no, I know. All right, what do you guys? Do you have any more for him?
I'm done asking questions.
You done, Paco?
'Cause I don't want him to fight
YouTube
me.
or Facebook.
We have a hard hitter right here from Griffin Autolab. Are you single?
Oh wow.
So
No.
Sorry, Griffin
Paco,
Autolab.
don't even. Paco asked that as a personal question.
No,
actually,
I can.
nope,
It's right
nope.
there.
Paco just wanted to know. Paco wanted to know.
Kristaps, you actually we haven't talked about. You have two beautiful daughters, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Aw.
Yeah. I'm been married for 5 years, and yeah, I have 2 daughters. One is 4, and the other is 2.
Aw.
What are their names?
The older one is like in English that will be Amelia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's the
Uh,
Latvian version of Amelia?
Amelia.
That sounds
Pretty
even
similar.
better.
Yeah, and the youngest one is Hanna.
Do they have the Latvian fire? Are they as wild as you are?
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Have they destroyed the house yet? Have they driven off jack stands? Have they sucker punched anyone?
Well, they're girls. Like they're bringing way more. I would say sensitive sense of a lifestyle because
Yeah.
the guys are rough, but the girls are like really lovely and cool.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Hopefully you'll
awesome.
bring that to an event.
Yeah, I even had to quit my hobby, like about that the killing those innocent people. So because these girls brought the feelings in my life. So
Yeah, they brought the nice guy out of you.
yeah, changed me.
All right, I think one more question. We can close out the questions and send you off into getting your full day done here. One of our longtime listeners, first-time callers, Macho Man Randy Sanchez says, "How does one properly assert dominance upon a fellow competitor?
Ooh, that's a brilliant question.
How do you dominate another competitor at FD, Kristaps?"
How do I dominate?
Yeah.
I don't know, just not doing anything special, just going there, just doing my thing.
Just being Kristaps. I like it. It just
Yeah,
comes naturally. It just comes naturally to the crazy Latvian.
So this is
Exactly, yeah.
So-
Planning our trip like step by step. See how it goes based on around the last round, and then just looking for the next one. That's how we do all these 4 years.
so.
There's no schedule ahead, or we don't buy plane tickets for the whole year. Just like one by one. If something goes wrong, you have to adapt for the situation. That's why you don't plan that much ahead.
And that's
So-
what I think one of the major characteristics that everyone loves and respects about you, Kristaps,
I
is
think-
that you are not trying to be the badass Latvian. It just happens. You are the badass Latvian, and it's been awesome watching your season so far. I don't think it'll be the last podium of the season. I think that you'll see us on our AM Intakes halftime show discussing Kristaps being on the top of the stands once again, and hopefully we get it there.
Hopefully, yeah.
So-
See how it goes.
So if I get this right, Corey, next time you need like to impose yourself on a competitor, you have to become Kristaps.
I
That's it.
I don't know
It's
if
simple.
I can.
Well, I mean, you heard it. That's what you need.
Yeah. The other thing too, I know Paco gives out free body kits. Are you giving out a bunch of free body kits, Kristaps?
C4.
For C4, yeah.
Yeah, sure. C3 too.
C3.
C3.
Seaway.
All right, Kristaps.
Yep.
Thank
you
you.
so much for spending the time waking up the butt crack of dawn in Latvia there to talk to us. Make sure to support Kristaps by buying shirts at events
And
or
go to his dumb
online,
event
or
this
buy
weekend.
a new Pro 2 ready drift chassis when they become available. But thank you for your time, Kristaps, and we will be seeing you in Seattle in a few short weeks.
And go to HGK
All
Drift
right.
Challenge this weekend,
HGK
right?
Challenge, yeah. If you,
Oh, yeah.
if any of
Oh,
our
yeah.
listeners happen to be in Latvia, or
But-
I mean, Europe is all one small community. If you're anywhere in Europe, go to the HGK Challenge.
And is
It'll
it
be nuts, I'm
streamed?
sure.
Is it streamed anywhere?
It will be streamed. Yeah, it will
Perfect.
be streamed. Unfortunately, it will be in LA, 3 a.m.
Perfect.
Perfect.
But that's what put yourself in my position. So
Yeah.
when my fans are watching FD competitions, they always have to stay late.
Yeah, which
Nice.
is awesome seeing
So-
fans saying that they're watching Atlanta at like 5 a.m. your time or whatever crazy time it was. Yeah, so pretty much
Exactly.
the opposite here. But yeah,
Sound is going to be the same, yeah.
yeah, we'll be definitely showing that in our Facebook discussion board, and we'll be commenting and watching the insanity. And yeah, can't wait to see you again soon in Seattle. And good luck with the HGK challenge. And we will talk to you soon.
All right. Nice talking to you guys.
See you night, Kristaps.
Bye-bye.
Hang up on him.
Hang up on him, Brian Harry, before he starts drawing again.
God, that guy
All
was
right.
about to fucking kill us. He is an animal. He's a beast.
I mean,
Do you know what? What do you guys think of his artwork? I didn't realize he had a second talent.
It was
He is a
intimidating.
true Michelangelo.
I mean,
Michelangelo.
Is that the name, Michelangelo?
Yeah, I wish I had some of your doodles, Corey, from all the time where you like.
Doodling.
Doodling.
Oh yeah, I have
'Cause I would
doodles.
like
I
to
heard, I heard this tapping throughout the episode, and I thought it was like a mic pop. Then I realized, no, Kristaps is like doing some work over here. So sorry about the tapping, listeners, but just know that it was Kristaps
With
creating
crayons.
art. And I really hope, and Kristaps came through with the jack stand. I believe truly that he will come through with this art, and hopefully give us a signed Kristaps age 38 to put on the wall of the studio.
I hope so.
I can't wait. Definitely gonna put it on the fridge for like a photo. You know,
Yeah.
like
Kristaps, thanks
here's
for
our
the
favorite.
artwork. Kristaps at 38 years old. Thanks for the artwork. This is from my kid, Kristaps. It's 38.
Before we sign off, I've got to apologize that I will not be on the show for 2 weeks.
What?
Yeah, I'm going to Germany.
Oh,
Okay, that doesn't make sense. That's no
It's
excuse.
odd. You might be able to derive something from that. You might not, depending on if you've seen the last video that we made out there. But we're doing that, and I'm doing a Snap-on job in Charlotte's. And Kristaps is actually helping out on that. I don't even want to say what that is, but Kristaps is supplying or helping to supply a transmission for this thing that we're doing. But
Samsonis.
we'll see. We'll see
Awesome.
what
Nice.
happens.
Well, thank you, Sam, for being a part of the show. It always means a lot.
Shut the
Coming from you, showing up on this beautiful.
But yeah, you guys better figure this out. You don't want me to find you some guests. You better fucking
I'll-
figure out who it's gonna be, guys.
I'm gonna sucker punch you right in
Yep.
the neck.
And before we go, we're gonna need you guys to give me a number because I was gonna ask Kristaps, but I was very intimidated.
yeah,
He's scary.
I need a number between 1 and let me see, 1 and 147.
Me or Corey? Who are you asking?
I'm gonna have you pick, Sam, since you're not in the studio.
There you go.
Oh, you want me to pick?
Yeah, pick a number.
What's Kristaps' number? What's his door number?
Let me see. Let me see.
Find
let
out.
me see. I'm gonna click on his name. Kristaps Blue Sheet.
Logan says 420. Wade and Logan also said 69.
Car number's 80.
80. That's a number,
80.
babe. Let's do it.
Awesome. So this week's giveaway for the AM swag pack is going to number 80.
Patreon. This is gonna offer Patreon.
That's right.
This is our Patreon
Dun,
giveaway
dun,
every
dun,
week.
dun,
I left the
dun,
link
dun,
on our
dun,
Facebook and I
dun.
left the link on our YouTube. Join the Patreon team.
Daniel Castrillo
Hey.
from Las
Yeah.
Vegas, Nevada.
Is it Daniel or Danielle?
Daniel. It's in
Daniel.
español, Daniel.
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 Congratulations, Daniel. Thank you for being a Patreon supporter. We've got a 6 swag pack for you. And if you want to be a part of this drawing in the future, make sure to become a Patreon. You get 1 share essentially for every dollar you do, right?
Yep.
Pretty
That's
much.
it.
If you're,
That's
if
how
you're
it
a
works.
$5 contributor, you get 5.
Yep. We just ended up getting another Patreon. Keith Johnson. He's at $20 an episode, so we're gonna put together a sweet pack for him.
Oh yeah, that's
for being
insane.
a part of that. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, everybody. That's a Patreon on all levels. Obviously, you guys help us continue to do the show, keep our equipment up to date, and
And also, before
the
we
lights on.
go, I have a very special, I would say, comment. Let's just say that like this. Remember, Corey, when we started building your car,
right.
and we did a live stream,
Yeah.
and we had we did like a little giveaway, and in order to decide who will win,
Yep.
they had to send us a photo.
Right.
Well, remember the guy who won?
Yeah.
Like the guy
Yeah,
that's doing
he did
the
his
splits.
splits.
It's kind of like a little stocky guy. Well, his name's Ty
Yep.
Frank.
Yep.
He is in Iraq right now. He's serving the country in Iraq.
Wow.
He's in fucking super good shape.
Really?
Yeah, and yeah, and here's no, but like it's like I mean he's looking great, he's kicking ass, and he was telling me that he and his friends in Iraq listen to the show, and that they're they listen to the show on Mondays, and like that they actually find it very like that they just like laugh, like it's like we just love listening and laughing at you guys, and it brings some joy to us in Iraq.
That's
so
wonderful.
Yeah, big shout out.
Thanks for your service, boys, and thanks for listening to the show out there.
Yeah, you guys obviously allow us to do what we do, so thank you for being such supporters of the country and us, and obviously we'll do whatever we can to support you guys overseas. So thank you.
Corey's gonna butt chug a bunch.
I'm gonna drink some. I'm gonna butt chug some Mick Ultras.
This was for you, boys.
Yeah,
butt chug for the troops.
Yeah, I want a beer bong a butt chug. Is that possible?
Yeah,
is that the same thing? Anyways, lastly, guys, as we're talking about beer bonging, butt chugging, go ahead, Sam.
I have one quick one too. Is that Stephanie and I went to Firestone Brewery here the other day, and we got some beers. So it was good. And the first round was on one of the beer experts there, Brandon. Brandon, who is a fan of the show. There's not very often sightings in the wild that people are like, hey, I listened to your fucking podcast. So that was very exciting. He was a listener of the podcast and was a fan and bought the first round. So thanks a lot, Brandon.
That is
was
super
awesome.
cool, man. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It goes back to how crazy this freaking sport is. You just all over the world, people from here at a bar to doing business in Iraq. It's pretty awesome. And obviously, like once again, all you guys, all the Patrons, thank you guys for all the support. But also AM Intakes, thank you guys for being a part of the show since day one. Motegi Racing Wheels, you guys were new this year, and you guys have been a huge support, getting us to all the Formula Drift rounds for the halftime show, as well as Next and Tire.
And Farrah Club.
And Farrah Club. Make sure you guys check them out. They're doing this cool thing. If you just go to Farrah Club on Instagram, it's a pretty cool Instagram deal that they're doing on there. So check them.
I've been taking photos of Forsberg to show off his Next and Infera life, and you see the other Infera drivers on there doing stuff.
Does that include like photos wearing Speedos and?
Yeah, mostly by the poolside, drinking White Claws and a Speedo.
Enjoying
lots
the
of really risque photos.
Nice.
It's weird. It's real weird.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then McLeod Clutches. And
Anybody else?
No, we got a few other people coming on board.
Patreons, of course, and
and
thank you guys.
Patreon,
Thank you guys
obviously.
for listening right now. If you've made it for the live show, thank you, and thank you if you're listening on the iTunes or any other way you listen to the show.
Yep.
And we will see you. I won't see you.
Sam, you can suck
watching
it. You won't
the
be
show,
seeing us anytime soon, pal.
Good luck without me.
Yeah, do you know what? We're gonna be way better without you. I can't wait till you're in Kentuckyville.
Germany.
Good night,
Yeah,
guys.
Germany, wherever that is, Sam.